Wow, this production is beautiful.
Heart2Heart.
Heart2Heart.
We need a third
Here,
hand.
there we go.
This is SM Entertainment's newest girl group, Hearts2Hearts, and their debut song, The Chase.
This song explores the exhilaration of venturing into the unknown, into the unknown, into the unknown. Drawing inspiration from Lewis Carroll's Alice in Wonderland.
Oh.
The song's lyrics depict a journey filled with curiosity and excitement,
Encouraging listeners to embrace new adventures and forge their own paths. They sing, "My adventure,
ooh,
this is the first step.
ooh,
Wherever my heart wants."
there I wanna go, oh no, whoa, whoa.
Dream has already begun.
The song is composed by our ultimate bias, Kenzie, along with amazing producers who names hopefully I don't butcher too poorly. Lauren Faith, Hannah Yachty, Georgia Douglas, Renee Downer, Stella Quaresma, and Notes Cat.
A question, do I have to read the question? No. Okay. You're gonna read the questions that she asked for?
If you're hearing this right now, that means this video isn't monetizable, nor is it sponsored. Instead, this video is brought to you by you, our YouTube members and supporters on Patreon. Patreon and YouTube memberships are how viewers like you can support our team and also gain access to tons of exclusive content. We post almost daily reactions to both old and new K-pop songs, along with a weekly podcast. Here's a sneak peek of one of our latest episodes.
I would like to give Karina her flowers on this song, just because I think her voice really matches like the tone of this song. I think she has like a very cool tone and almost like sexy kind of tone in this song that really matches the vibe that they're going for.
If you're gonna give this song its flowers for anything, it would be that
That's a good one.
it is definitely the showcase of singing on this mini album for sure that I think is like worthwhile.
In 2024, we even added a new series where we rank every title track and single in an artist's discography. If you want to become a patron or YouTube member to help our channel continue and to access over 1,000 exclusive videos, check out the description of this video for how to join. Thank you so much to all of you who already support us. We really couldn't keep doing this without you. And now, back to the video.
3, 2, 1, chase.
What's with SM and trains?
Oh my god, is it gonna be like
Bass?
supernova coded?
Is that a launch?
What is that?
Or alpaca?
What?
Unexpected. So SM?
This is interesting. I feel like the chords don't match what the bass is doing. Like it's just, I would imagine something else from hearing just the bass.
Scott, get into the mood.
I like the hi-hat, it kind of almost is giving shaker.
They're going for like the weird, creepy concept. Okay, layered vocals.
Oh, that pen just snapped.
Okay.
Kind of wild.
Interesting how the bass is keeping similar patterns.
Wow, this production is beautiful.
The production is giving fantasy and adventure.
Ooh.
It's very vibes.
I love how they play with like darkness and brightness. Ooh.
Tambourine.
This is Sparkle Sparkle having the deepest bass possible.
Oh.
And now we're back to the verse.
The God man. The God man.
It's very aesthetic.
Sing it, sing it.
Oh, we got the sparkly instrumental.
Tambourine.
The bass is very thick.
That felt like a little bit of a SNSD nod with the one note with background harmonies.
This hi-hat sound is so like deep and so like rich.
What an interesting like chorus.
Yeah.
You know?
Color change in the, is that chorus?
Whoa, there's some.
This like chanting is like crazy.
It's very texture focused.
I love that sound. Oh.
Oh. Guitar.
Going a little halftime with it. Huh.
I don't think we have a pre-chorus.
Oh.
I think this is a verse, chorus, verse, chorus. Nice guitar parts.
Their visuals are like crazy.
Huh.
Whoa.
That's kind of rich.
Nice guitar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I almost thought her voice was a guitar for a second. That's cool.
Oh yeah, the bass was going off there.
And the bass is back there.
I love that little just floaty little keyboard in the back.
I mean, they cleaned up, if you know what I mean.
Go-go bells?
Yeah.
So random.
Kind of a random sound to use there.
Wow.
And the background vocals.
The concept is so strong.
This is super like airy.
Just beautiful, like good house music.
Wow.
God.
Yay!
That was great.
That was cute.
That was very interesting.
Nice. That's a lot of
How many of
members.
them? 8?
That's a lot of members.
Can you show us more of this group? I love this.
This is their only song of the season.
I'm like totally amazed. It's like such a cohesive composition, I think. The chord progression, the instrumentals, and how those frame like their great vocals. It like just makes me excited for more for this group.
It's pretty.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
Yeah, I'm into it.
I want to say this is like softcore fairy glamour type of, kind of like Y2K princess vibes. Maybe a bit like nostalgia for the kind of instruments synthetically that would have been around in the 90s, 2000s, kind of following that trend.
And people are liking a lot more like lo-fi sound, a lot more like really, really calming. So there's no like abrasive synth. There's a lot of like arpeggiation that kind of adds to the fairy core.
There are like slightly more rough sounding synths, but they're all toned down so that nothing pops out at you.
It feels like you're like in the clouds kind of thing, but then we've got the sparklies and then we've got the guitar at some point. So yeah,
And like the really loud bass.
Yeah.
SM loves their bass.
Yes.
I feel like they love a good like wee wee. That's literally their logo. Boop boop boo boo boo.
What do you think about this sound? This is a new girl group. I do feel like it's pretty fresh. It's like a mixture of fresh and familiar, which is...
Yeah.
It's interesting to have that debut after like a group, like the last girl group debut was aespa, and they had such like a hard debut.
Oh, yeah.
They have a bit of that energy, but also a little bit of like Red Velvet's whimsy.
Yeah.
Not to compare them to like past groups, but I do feel like a lot of companies kind of go for similar aesthetics they find successful.
Yeah.
It makes me think of Girls' Generation a lot. Yeah. They have two voices with their harmony. And in Girls' Generation, most of their songs have this motive. Like they use it. It's more of the long time ago songs. It was more of the 2010 songs, but it reminded me of those songs.
There's a little SNSD. The chant actually reminds me of Next Level by aespa for some reason. The little da 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 da. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's in line, just in their own. It's in kind of like a more cutesy way than before. But
Yeah, it's not like hardcore or sexy.
yeah, which is good because they're probably
they're very
really young.
I'd like to hear some bigger shift in there. I'm overall liking it, but it's like, I feel like softer, like this sort of softer aesthetic girl group's been prevalent a bit for the last couple of years.
But SM has never done it.
That's true.
This is SM's first go at it.
I wanted to hear it SM'd a little bit harder.
I think when it comes to the harmonic language, that's what sets Hearts2Hearts aside from other soft girl group vibes. Like the level of thick background harmonies and also the form as well. I think having that double bridge is very SM. For me, this is the right level of SM, but I get what you want from it.
But like when I say SM, I don't mean like make them sound just like another SM girl group or any other group. Like obviously our Hearts2Hearts is further from any other SM girl group, but they're a little bit close to some existing ones, and I want to hear something that's a more novel take on this sort of sound.
I'm just disappointed.
Why? I think it's a really strong song.
It's a strong song by itself. Yeah, it is really strong.
But you're expecting more vocally, or?
Yeah, like kind of like showcasing. Like you gotta showcase what the group does in the debut. Well, I'm just putting it into a stereotype too. Like which I probably shouldn't do. Like I'm stereotyping debut songs to be like super bombastic and high energy, and showcasing like this member does this member does this. But this was more like a cute portrayal of all the members in their kind of like group niche, where I kind of wanted like a individual, like 17's debut song was super like S-Coops reps, Vernon reps, Woozy sings.
I think what's giving you that impression is there's no significant vocal moments or rap moments that really like grab your attention. Yeah. And you're like, oh, that member does this, that member does that, right?
Which is typically what personally what I think should happen. But I mean, people are allowed to disagree, of course.
Doing this approach could be risky because you could like end up being kind of underwhelming as a group. But I think they really knew how to make an impression, even though they didn't do like an overtly showy thing. But there is still like, I don't know, there's still very catchy things. I think the overall song does sound very catchy, and the percussion does still give it a lot of drive. And so because of those elements, I feel like it's like a best of both worlds scenario.
The feeling of the song is kind of understated, but I think that's quite beautiful for a debut. I don't think they need to be over showy or attention grabbing to like really take you in. You know what I mean?
You know, this new wave of 16th generation, fifth, okay. Fifth generation K-pop groups. Yeah, just ride the wave, but also, you know, show us what makes this group unique.
I think they still managed to define themselves within this new wave of like a New Jeans sound. I wouldn't be like, oh, this is like just a New Jeans song. This is totally something different.
Yeah, I liked it. I think it's a pretty good song. One lyrics that popped out was, "This is our first step for our adventure," which means they just debuted as the new girl group from SM. That's a big deal.
It's very different from what I first imagined it to be, because of like the beginning you get the really deep like bass, right? And I was like, okay, so like, you know, some aespa song, like a strong beat, and then it started with I love the change. Like, oh.
I do want to give a quick shout out to our Discord, because I saw we have a music channel on our Discord where people can submit music, K-pop related questions for our reactors. And one talked about the intro of the song not being able to fully feel the groove immediately or get where it's hitting rhythmically. So let's look into that. Yeah, because there's no percussion going like emphasizing the pop beats.
Oh yeah.
So what they do with the bass line here is and this is really just an interesting way to just like, I guess, accent a 4/4 pattern anyways, but it's just, that's the whole 4.
It's 3-3-2 2-3-3. So it's 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 dum bum ba da 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 dum bum ba dum bum ba 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 bum.
There we go.
So 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2.
So those are 2 bars of 4/4, like one after the other, but one's accented in a completely different way than the other one, which is why I thought it was an asymmetrical time signature like 7.
And also why maybe the first vocal line feels like it's coming in on a off.
Yeah.
If you're feeling the bass notes as the beat of, let's say, this mystical time signature that we don't know, right? You're hearing, so you hear the first 2 bum, bum, so you think the next one is going to be bum, and the next one would be bum, right? It would just be 3, sorry, that doesn't make sense. Sing it. Yes, bum, 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 bum. Yeah, and then you hear it's a little shorter, and then you're confused, and so you don't know where the beat is, and now you're trying to play catch up, and then it comes back to 3 + 3, so then you're like, okay, we're here, but then it goes back to 2, and so you're confused, and then the voice comes in on the downbeat, but to you, you're lost because you don't know. You know what I mean? But if you know that the song is in this time signature and this tempo, and you count it like that from the beginning, and you just hear the bass as syncopation instead of actual big beats of a mystical time signature, then you know it comes in like exactly where it's supposed to. But that's why it feels like it's off.
Pretty cool.
I think, yeah, when it comes to intros like this, they eventually tell you how to feel it when the other instruments and when voices come in. And so then you can apply that to the beginning.
Like the hardest thing they got going in the song is the bass. I think. Everything else is just very light.
Yeah, the bass it's a little heavier. Yeah. It's thumping, you know, doo 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 doo. It's got like some really nice punchiness to it. Yeah. It's keeping things held down.
The bass adds an addicting groove to it, I think, which kind of like balances out the whole kind of fairy core high-pitched percussion happening.
And it made a great intro.
Yeah, I think so. It's really like attention catching.
I felt so rooted, partly because of that like really, I wouldn't say murky, but definitely like I feel like I'm in the deep end, which for me is like 5 feet. So yeah, I feel like I'm 5 feet deep when I listen to
Well, at
this
least
song.
musically, I don't know. We can have our own definition of deep, but musically it'll all sound very deep. The bass sounds so intentional, and it really pulls you to its level.
I was listening for like all the vocal stuff because they have 8 members. They might as well use it, right? The thing that I was noticing is like all the different like background vocals doing different stuff with the front, especially I think in the chorus. Yeah, it's just beautiful.
Yeah, so I mean they're not really doing anything like super abrasive or even diverse with the vocals. I mean there's like again another spoken word chorus sort of thing going on here, which was really interesting actually. Really, what like such an understated like chorus, you know? But I liked it. I thought it was really cool. Yeah. And like I love the space they put into it as well. It wasn't like trying to like give your ears overstimulation.
I guess we'll see like if what their rap chops, vocal chops will be in the future when more songs
They have
come
really
out.
pretty vocal tones, like, and
very beautiful.
also very diverse range of kind of colors that they're going for.
I mean, they're singing a little offbeat, which I don't know. Singing offbeat, I don't know. That's not a thing a debut usually would have, I think. I think a debut would usually feature the members just all singing in time and taking as few risks as possible. Let the producers take the risks if they want to, you know. But here, it's clear they're so comfortable with their vocals and their expression as singers. Really impressive.
With the vocals, like they're like really airy, respiratory. Their aim was to be like, I love the way you loved it, in that airy register, rather than I love the way, I love the way. There was some belting, there was some of the higher runs towards the end, like with the bridge and afterward.
But when the high up, suddenly there's one member that just went, woo.
I was like, who is she? I want to know.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know so much about this group. I think they sound so good.
And obviously their vocals are really great. Their voices really work super well together. Just like all the big hits of their vocal chords were just like super luscious and super like perfect. So yeah.
They're really locked in harmonically. Super cool.
Speaking of harmonically, y'all were talking about major, minor, what was happening.
I'm getting detonicization.
Detonicization.
With a lot of flat.
D minor?
7.
D minor.
Yeah, D minor. With some major moments because it's K-pop and we love modal mixture.
Yeah. So I was getting D minor tonicization, which is so weird that they opened their verse with major 5. The bass was going something like that. It was on a D the whole time.
And then that's a G major 7 with a D in the bass still because that bass is going woo 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 woo.
And G minor 9.
Yeah.
So it goes here to.
And then minor, and then G.
G major.
Yeah,
and
keeping
then
all
G
those.
minor 9. Or maybe they just flip back and forth.
Yeah, and then back to minor 9. And then back to major. Yeah. So basically all of these like extensions, stacked thirds, and kind of like lack of dominant adds to the chill vibe because you don't have any of those like dissonant tritones or any intervals which make you feel like there's some kind of like heart-tugging feeling that you need to resolve. It's all just like open major and minor 7ths.
A lot of R&B. Oh yeah. That's good stuff. So yeah, it's like your head comes out of the water to take a breath, and then you go back down and you're like observing all of the fishies / bodies and lifesavers in the swimming pool.
Whoa.
Depending on where you are. It's that immersed feeling. It's submerged. Yeah.
That's like a, what is that, minor 4/7?
Yes. It's like a minor 5, I think, as well.
Yeah. I just feel
Over 1.
so, like with those extended harmonies, I feel like usually when you would hear like a minor 4 sound, it has like such like a strong tonal pull. But really it just kind of darkens the sound a little bit without pulling you too much in one direction.
That color is very colorful to me.
Yeah.
That color? That chord.
Yeah.
That color is very chordal to me.
Sure is.
So this might be the chorus if
I
they
think
end
we're
with the chase. The way, that's the chorus. This is the catchiest part of the song for me. The I love the way you love the chase. But there is some modal mixture in there, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, I don't actually remember whether it's... Yeah, actually, this sounds more right. So G minor, not. And then I think... Sorry. A minor 7. And then there's a little D major at the end, although, like, I think the bass is gone. So it's kind of understated. It doesn't feel like a really heavy...
Yeah. It's interesting how low-pitched it is overall. And the prominence of the chant, I think, which is... not something I've heard recently in this generation of girl groups. I think it tends to be a lot more like high-pitched spoken or melodic, but this is very like low-key, kind of like ada, 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 around this kind of register.
Yeah, it's a very intimate register.
Which I think makes it stand out a lot more when they actually are doing pitch stuff, like those like ad-lib moments in the bridge and final chorus that we were both pointing out.
It's as if they're holding back.
Yeah, a little bit.
I think the chanting and like bringing it back, because the chanting kind of feels like a pre-chorus, and it might be a pre-chorus, or is it the chorus?
It's a post-chorus. I don't know. People, we're all debating. We're debating. It's in debate.
It's in debate.
I think that's the chorus. And then when they speak, it's the post-chorus. So we go from intro of just the bass, then we have verse, and then immediately when all voices come in, all the harmonies come in, that's the chorus, I believe.
Okay.
Typically, when they say the title of the song, that's the hook. But if we're talking about like the da, 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 da being the hook, then the chase is the pre-chorus.
Yeah, this is the chorus.
See, I thought that this was a pre-chorus.
And then bridge.
Hold on.
Which almost sounds more like a chorus, doesn't it?
It does.
Because it's where all the... You can tell it's the bridge too, because it's where all the really high singing happens. Yeah, there it is. Sounds great.
That's pretty.
And then back to the chorus.
I think it's
So this is post-chorus, you're
a
thinking?
more unique flavor to have such a colorful initial drop and then the darker spoken part in a post-chorus. I feel like it's usually switched around. Oh, a very long... What? Then what would this section be? Post-chorus?
I think it's just the pre-chorus, yeah.
Yeah, see, I thought that this was the chorus. I mean, I guess.
You can call it whatever you want, you know. We can call it a super chorus.
A super chorus.
The mega chorus.
I like it. But wait a second.
It sounds really nice.
Wait a second. If that's a super chorus, then this thing with I Love the Chase, we're calling that a verse. Wouldn't that be the super verse?
We're calling
then?
it a pre-chorus.
The super pre-chorus then. Well, then what's the verse?
Okay, intro.
Intro.
Verse.
Ah, okay. I forgot about this part. All right, so this is the verse.
Pre-chorus.
This is the pre-chorus?
Could be. Or it could just be verse B.
Or it could be chorus part 1.
I'm about to say, this could just be the part of the chorus that kind of just evolves in the second half.
Yeah, it could be. It could be.
It's tough.
Let's start a healthy discourse in the comments.
The ending is very satisfying since they combine all of the different elements together, even though you know this isn't like going to be one of those wild SMP songs with big ad-libs. Instead, they just combine some soft background vocals, all harmonized pretty thickly, along with other elements from the song, and so it becomes thicker, and it's satisfying.
But the ending does have, which this is something that happens in a lot of pop songs where you combine two things together, like at the end of a song, right? You've got like dueling vocal lines at the end. That's what they do here with the pre-chorus and the chorus.
And that is everywhere in that early 2000s
We can call it
pop
the
that you were talking about.
Yeah,
too,
that
where
is
they mix everything together.
Very 2000s thing.
And they end with the end of the chorus, but have the spoken part.
Oh, yeah.
Because I love the way you love the chase. That's actually the end of the first part of the chorus.
Okay,
But then
that's a good
they
point.
start with the spoken part, which is the second part of the chorus. So they start with the second part of the chorus and they end with the second part of the...
Yep.
What I'm trying to say, cool form.
I think I was more engrossed in the production and all of the fun instruments that were being used in the production rather than anything like vocally.
And the little glockenspiel thing also interacts with like some of the darker sounds, and instead of shooting upwards, it kind of does a little meandering.
Yeah, and also I think like the second verse or something, they like distort this, like the keyboard sound. It sounds so beautiful. It like emphasizes the murkiness.
Yeah.
It's given that like ethereal vibe too. And I think that's what they were going for here. I think if you just kind of do that major 7, you know, and going all the way up in like 4 octaves, then like, yeah, it would
Sparkle,
it would sparkle.
Sparkle, sparkle.
In that second verse, they have a lot of different production like go in and out because it is more on the sparser side so that they can introduce new things, but they don't keep it for long. It isn't like they introduce it and keep it forever. So that, yeah, on the left, they introduced that and then it disappeared. So we've got the wind chimes there. Yeah, and then the whoop, 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 whoop.
My brain has like the happy ASMR feeling.
Yeah.
Follow me, follow me, follow me.
I think the production on this is sweet. Like that's just the standout thing for me.
So it doesn't throw me off like that there's these seemingly random instrument choices for this. However, it does sort of like draw my ear to them, which kind of makes me want to listen to this more, like makes me stay in it more. Like let's say they used like just like normal percussion instruments, like, and they didn't have like all of these cool instruments, I might possibly get a little uninterested and like my brain might turn off. I'm not saying that I would, but there's a slight chance. Don't hate me. But because that they're using these sort of contemporary instruments, it draws my ear to them and it makes me want to continue listening to try to find more. So in a way, it's keeping me engaged with what's going on, which is nice.
I'm curious to see what else they'll come out with, because it's interesting because debuts, you don't really know their full range of their talents, because it's whatever concept they decided to go with.
They've like, definitely got the aesthetic down.
They got like good aesthetic. Yeah, they're doing great. Hearts2Hearts. Yay!
I know a lot of the K-pop is kind of short game in the sense that they want that first hit to be a hit. They want it to come out. They want it to grab people's attention. And this shows that I think they have a lot of faith in this group and these performers. Yeah. And so I think that
it's a bold statement.
I think that's cool.
Yo, it's so hip.
This is mixed very well.
And we back. Did we change keys? Why did it feel like that was a key change? Oh, that was a key change?
Yes. It's like their debut.